Okay. All right, now we're good. Okay, everybody, sorry for the slight delay. This is Brian Anderson with Fathering Together, coming at you with another Sunday reflection. I have my co-pilot and guest star.
Claire.
Yes, she has decided she likes joining me on these Sunday reflections. And so, yes, there are some people watching us tonight. So, do you want to tell them why my hands are covered in blue and green dye?
And mine.
Yours too, yeah. How come our hands are all covered?
Daddy's wearing it.
Yes, what did we make today?
We made tie-dye.
That's right.
Stuff.
Yeah, we did tie-dye shirts
and we didn't have our gloves on the whole time, so we
Yep.
had some on our hands.
Yep, we struggled a little bit with the instructions, so my hands will probably be 2 or 3 tones for the next few days. But we had a lot of fun before the rain came, didn't we?
And it was raining a lot.
Yeah.
And it was like on and off, on and off.
Yep.
And I made 3, Natalie made 2, my sister made 2, and Daddy made his, which
That's
is
right.
this. And my mommy made
1, 2. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
The grown-ups are equal.
Yeah. Are you ready to go upstairs and read some books and brush your teeth?
I'm just gonna brush my teeth because I already have my hands.
Okay, right. Okay, well, I will come up and we will read books when I'm done with this.
I'm watching Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You had some good behavior, so we're going to watch a little Star Wars. Okay, let me finish this, and then you can go get ready for bed. Okay? All right. Love you, kiddo. All right. So, as you may have seen, she's joined the last few weeks, but I asked her to step away for part of this because we've got some topics to cover that I wanted to make sure we get through because we've got a busy couple of weeks coming ahead here at Fathering Together, especially in our Facebook groups. So, first, many times I talk about recently, especially the stresses in our lives. We're all navigating different challenges right now, whether we're underemployed, unemployed, family members who are suffering and dying from COVID, or the challenges of just balancing work and fatherhood. And now many of us are also looking to what the school year is going to be. I saw some schools have even opened this week and shut down right away. So there's a lot going on, and we want to offer some space to help navigate those challenges to those that need it. There's a link in the description to the first of our 5-part series on fathering in a time of COVID-19. This is for anybody in the group who's just looking to have a space to talk, have a space to talk and connect with other dads in the group. We've got about 10 guys signed up so far for the first session. We'd love to have more guys join us, and it's facilitated by one of our members, Dr. Paolo Yanez, and a friend of his, Dr. Richard Cohen. Both are dads, both are longtime facilitators of men's groups like this, and they're excited to share and help navigate all the things that we're navigating, stressful or otherwise, in these current times. So please do check out that link. We also have Amy Lang, who is a specialist on how do we navigate the birds and the bees talk, the challenging times of puberty and dating and all the other kind of stuff that comes with the teenage years or potentially even earlier. So if you're a dad with a daughter or a son, really, but in that range, please check that out in our Fathering Together page if you haven't already. It is going to be on Tuesday as well in the middle of the day for most of us here in the States anyway. The other thing that we're launching this week is a new initiative that we're calling Stand Up Dads. And it kind of came about this past week when I was talking with some friends about just the challenges that, especially those of us that have daughters, are going to face. Statistics don't lie. The reality is that many of our daughters are going to be facing sexual violence in their future. And whether that is catcalling or street harassment to upwards of the really serious stuff like rape and sexual domestic violence. And that's stuff that I cringe and think about as a father of 2 daughters. And I'm sure many of you have thought about that as well. And I, for one, don't want to have to think about my daughter as a statistic. I don't want to think about her having to come home and telling me what happened because someone took advantage of her in some way, shape, or form. I don't want to have the moment where we have to talk more seriously about consent because something went wrong on a date, or just walking down the hall at school and a friend of hers calls her something that she doesn't want to be called. And that kind of rhetoric is everywhere. We see it all the time, in TV shows, in politics, in just daily life. And I don't know about you, but it frightens me, and it pisses me off more so than anything else. And I imagine many of you are in the same boat. And I think, instead of throwing our hands up and saying, "Oh, well, that's just the world that is it is," right? I call that out and say that's bullshit. Sorry for the stronger language, but again, I get heated, I get angry when I think about this stuff, and I don't want us to be in a world where 10, 15 years from now, my daughter is having to tell her Me Too story. I'd rather all of us as fathers work to help those that are pushing this message to be pushed further, and to role model for our daughters what it means to be a fine, outstanding human being, right? Like, treating women with respect, recognizing that they are equal parts of our community. And as many of you probably are thinking, you want your daughter to be a leader of industry. You want them to be excited to be a mom and to raise kids that you get to call grandkids. I want to see my daughter, at the head of her class without stress, without fear. And many of you, I'm sure, express the same things. But many of you have had to face these challenges. We've had posts in the group. We've had members reach out really stressed out and uncomfortable because of what their daughters had to face and what they had to talk with their daughter about, as an after fact, right? So let's not let that happen. Let's stand up. Let's make a decision to say, hey, as a father, I want my daughter to not feel afraid. I want my daughter to live the life that she wants and not be afraid that she's going to be raped or have to carry mace or a knife in her pocket because of someone who might, scare her and attack her or whatever, right? Any of those negative stereotypes that exist. And so let's do something about it. In the description, there is a link to a page on our website at fatheringtogether.org that we're calling the Stand Up Dads petition. We're inviting you all to take the petition and join us. We are also fundraising to work with a couple educators to build some courses to help us all navigate the internal stuff that we've accepted in our lifetime. I mean, I was a kid of the 80s, and I was actually watching a rerun of Cheers recently, and I was like, what the fuck, right? Like, half of this stuff is just sexual assault just waiting to happen. These are Me Too stories living out in a sitcom from the mid 80s that my dad loved. I remember loving. But now, 30, 40 years later, I'm just like, no, this is not acceptable anymore. And so we're inviting you to reflect on that stuff. We're inviting you to step into some courses to think about how you can take a more active role if that's something you're comfortable doing, and learn about how to be an active role model for your child, and an active bystander to say, no, this kind of violence towards women, whether it's verbal, spiritual, physical, emotional, it's just not going to stand anymore. And so I invite you to check out the website. I invite you to be a part of this new initiative that we're kicking off here in August. And if you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to reach out. Shoot me a private message, ask how you can get more involved. We've got some key partners in menchallenging.org, the Pixel Project, and Stop Street Harassment, all doing great work to raise awareness about violence towards women and girls, but also how we can work together to end it. Because while, I have a vested interest because I have a daughter that I don't want to grow up in a world that thinks of her as second-class citizen and property of a man who thinks he can just talk the way he wants around her. I'm also doing this because I have a wife, I have friends, I have people in my life that I care deeply about, and I want to be an advocate for them so that they are not facing these things too, because it's just not right. And so I invite you to do something about it and stand up with me and the rest of the dads. Have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you around in the group. Peace.